record mode.
Okay.
And that means this.
Okay.
Which is always good to do.
Yeah.
And then we record.
Right.
Let's see. You sound like those viral videos where the dog is answering the owner.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah.
What did you do? What happened to the food in the fridge?
He's like, nothing. Yeah.
Did you? You ate it. Oh.
Oh, that's so good. That's one of my favorite things ever made. So good. All right. And that guy, by the way, does TikToks now, and he makes new ones all the time. They're great.
Oh, really? With the same dog?
I don't know if it's the same dog or not. It looks like maybe a different dog, but they're just as good.
Same TikTok, different dog.
Yeah. All right. Here goes. One another. It begins in. Oh, shit.
It does not.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Hold on. Shoot. I knew I was forgetting something. Hold on, everybody. Why? Okay. Hold on. iTunes is farting out. When's that new stuff coming? Fall? I don't want to wait till fall.
Yeah. I'm playing with it on my laptop, and I like it. Although, yeah, long story, but basically I have about 500 duplicated smart playlists in my iTunes that I need to delete before I can really get into it and start enjoying it.
Oh, yeah. I assumed you were going to have special issues.
Yeah, well, this is an issue that just comes from a weird glitch that has multiplied itself over and over and over and over with my playlists in my regular iTunes.
That seems bad.
Yeah. Yes, it is bad.
Seems very bad.
Because it takes forever to clear them out.
It's a very odd thing. All right, so those two are new. We're putting those in.
I'll say.
Let's do this one. And let's do this one. And then we're going to change the Fletchers real fast to that one. And
Oh, I miss Bingo, Keikatsumi. Yeah, the Bingo cards that we used to have were so fun for TMS.
Yeah, what happened to that? What happened to those?
We still have a Dice Tomato.
Yeah, you just quit doing it?
I guess he quit doing it.
All right. Look, it takes commitment. I guess Dice Tomato didn't have the commitment. We're just kidding. We think you're great. All right. Let's
love you, Dice.
Yeah, we like we like him a lot.
There we go. Hi, Cor. Bingo's face. Whatever happened to Bingo?
All right. Now, really for real. 3, 2, 1.
I'm at PetSmart. Yep, I'm at PetSmart. Just looking at birds. Not gonna get one. Look at this guy right here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
I love bread.
The Morning Stream. Terrific equipment to have in battle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TMS. It is the morning stream for July 25th, 2019. Scott Johnson here. Brian Ibbett there. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Just scraping by, getting it done, making it happen. It's been a week, man. And when I say a week, it's been a 7-day, it's been a trial for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get into details or anything. Although Wendy thinks, I talked to my sister yesterday briefly via text talking about today's topic, and she thinks that maybe it would be good for us at some point to have a cathartic journey together discussing the recent, let's call them, issues that arrived in the Frog Pants community and beyond.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. I guess maybe sort of could be, yeah. And then she said, well, don't worry about it today, but maybe in future. And I said, okay, maybe then. Maybe then my wound will have healed a little. Perhaps it will have closed up.
Yeah, I mean, that's do we do it while it's still hot, fresh, and painful, or do we kind of do it when we've got a little bit more clarity and are less emotional and reactive about it? Because that is the thing.
That's exactly the thing. I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the mode of like, yeah, let's see how we're feeling in a few weeks, and maybe then. But right now, meh.
It's
And
too,
then
too stingy.
and it
still.
can be about, like, the conversation can be about how to deal with, or why do we want to what's the word? Why do we want to put things like this off? It can be about that.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see. I don't
I think
know.
it would be it's interesting. I mean, I think it would be an interesting topic to cover with Wendy, especially with Wendy, just to kind of get that
We get
extra perspective.
That third party arbiter that is Wendy.
That's
Dunford.
right, exactly.
Yep. She's the arbiter of pain. What? Wait, I don't know.
Arbiter of Pain. That was my favorite Police song. Man.
Oh, it was so good.
I'm the arbiter of pain.
That's right.
I'll
You didn't have
always
to.
be arbiter of pain.
You don't have to do something with the red light. He'd say, "Oh, that's a different song."
Yeah, that's exactly the same song. And
Wait, how's it go? You don't have to turn on the red light. That was
you
it.
don't have to put on the red light.
Well, because this the
Those
okay.
days are over. Yeah,
I have a question
about a
about
hooker.
I have
It's about a hooker.
It is, but I have a question about that. Did hookers used to? Whenever you'd say red light district, I just thought that meant that's what the lights were all up and down the road. Was that like you go to one of those Brazilian beef places, and if the red light's on, you bring more beef?
You're like, I'm kind of full of hooker right now. Let's wait a little bit, and then as soon as we're all finished with our current hooker, we'll turn on the little thing. No, it's as I understand it, it's kind of like the Amsterdam thing. So in Amsterdam, there's a district, there's a street, I believe, where you almost go window shopping for prostitutes. There's like all these windows, and they're just kind of in there hanging out, and they turn on their light, their red light, to indicate that they're available.
Okay. So
And,
so when Sting says that, he's saying you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that. I guess I'll be your permanent customer.
Yeah.
I guess is what he's trying to say.
I'll be your John forever.
I'll be I want to be your forever home. Yeah.
All right, I get it now. I think I have a greater understanding.
That's how I always took it.
Amsterdam and their legified hookery.
That's right.
Uh,
Potting.
Oh, speaking of that part of the world, we got a sad death over there in that direction.
Oh, right.
Although he's not.
Is he Dutch?
He's now I got to look it up. I can't remember. Is he Dutch? He's right here. Here's the article. Rutger Hauer, who passed away at the age of 75 yesterday. Well, actually a few days ago. We just sort of found out about it. There it is, the Netherlands. Yeah. So
Yeah. All right. So
he's a Nederlander.
yeah.
He is a cool Dutch leading man who in the 70s did a bunch of stuff in those films being made over there, but then made a huge breakout over here as Roy Batty.
Roy Batty in Blade Runner, like
yep.
Tears in Rain.
Died July 19th at his home in the Netherlands after a short illness. He was 75 years old. Here's the cool
policeman.
Here's the cool fact. Here, a fun fact. Not fun.
Yeah.
Whatever. Ironic fact.
Interesting fact.
He dies on July 19th, 2019.
Sure.
His character died in 2019.
Oh, really?
Roy Batty.
So the movie Blade Runner took place in 2019?
Yep. So that's pretty crazy, right? Think of
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Pretty nutty.
That is. Wow.
He's in a lot of other stuff, of course. I remember him fondly in Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. I thought he was great in True Blood that wasn't that long ago. He did that.
I forgot that he was in True Blood. Yeah. We watched Lady Hawk for Film Sack, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we did. We totally did that.
We need to watch The Hitcher. I like Blade Runner for me will always be my favorite Rutger Hauer film.
The Hitcher, dude.
There was one where he was blind.
Oh, that's Blind Fury.
Blind Fury, yes.
Also awesome.
Yeah, there's so many. Oh man, we need some Rutger. We need some Rut in our film sack coming up.
I agree, and it should be the two you said. We should watch The Hitcher, and we should watch Blind Fury, and maybe Hobo with a Shotgun. It's been long enough. We could do that now.
I forgot Hobo with a Shotgun. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was 2011. That was 10 years ago, or whatever it was. So
right.
Anyway, it's just kind of sad because that dude's just cool. That guy was freaking cool.
He really was. Yeah,
I love that guy.
He seemed like somebody in real life that you wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of, but that if you were friends with him, he was probably like the nicest, do anything for you kind of guy in the world. Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
He would die in the rain and say poetry before he dies for you.
That's right.
He would do that if he
The
had to.
things I've seen with your eyes.
Oh, man.
With these eyes.
Makes me just want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
that does.
And then followed up with the second one.
Chat room says we need to watch Blood of Heroes. I don't know what that is. Is that another Rutger Hauer joint? I wouldn't
Blood
know.
of Heroes. A 1989 Australian-American post-apocalyptic film written and directed by David Webb Peoples, starring Rutger Hauer, Joan Chen, and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh. I'd watch this.
This film has inspired the creation of the sport jugger,
What the hell
whatever
is that?
jugger is.
Yeah. Well, but if I've not played it, am I a juggernaut?
Yeah. In a barren world caused by wars waged in the 20th century and now forgotten, most live from hand-to-mouth in enclaves known as market towns or dog towns, scrounging out a bare subsistence, harvesting hardy crops, raising dogs as food, and trading in trinkets from the past.
Dog towns. Good lord.
Dog towns.
Joan Chen, remember her? She was a thing for a while there.
She was great in that first season of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, she was very
And then
good
she
in that.
got turned into a wooden doorknob by, not Manfred Mann. What the heck was that guy's name?
What a weird
What the
show.
heck was her name?
It's a
It
weird
was
show. So weird.
Winfred Hill. Wyndham Hill.
Wyndham Hill.
Wyndham Hill turned her into a wooden doorknob.
Nailed it. Wyndham Hill. Joan Chen still
Something like that, yeah.
still kicking it. Age 58.
Oh, Wyndham Earl.
Wyndham
that's it,
Earl.
yeah.
There you go. I don't remember that show, but she was in Fire Walk with Me. You're right about that. She was also in the regular old one, right? Yeah. Right? Wait.
She was in.
She just Fire Walk
Did
with
she
Me?
appear in Fire Walk with Me? I
Sit-
don't know if she did.
Says she does. It says
okay. All right.
scenes deleted. Sorry, scenes deleted.
Okay.
Whatever that is. Was it just a shot of a doorknob? And they deleted it.
Maybe somebody opens the door and
She did that thing in the 80s that everybody did. She was on Knight Rider, she was on MacGyver, she was on Miami Vice, and she was on Wise Guys. She made all the stops, which is pretty great.
that's
Anyway,
cool.
well, good luck to her. I don't know why why are we talking? Oh, because of that movie. You know what?
Because of Blood of Heroes.
We would totally watch that for Film Sack. Are you freaking kidding me?
Totally. Yeah, you had Scott at post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. You'd have me at post, pre, and current apocalyptic. Like, whatever you want, I'm in.
Sure.
But that sounds good. I'd be into it.
Yeah. The Hitcher is taking a long time to load is what The Hitcher is.
The Hitcher
Just
remake
curious
was
if it's,
terrible.
Nope. Cinemax Go. It's on Max Go,
All right. So no good
which
there.
are two suffixes for HBO these days.
How about a Blind Fury? How's that doing?
Blind Furry, in which Rutger Hauer dons a fox costume.
Doesn't know it though because he's blind. He doesn't know what he's wearing.
Because he doesn't know it. He thinks he's just wearing like a coat,
Yep.
a heavy parka.
Yep.
Not available anywhere.
It's rentable and buyable, but
And-
not streaming
And
currently.
how about The Hitcher?
The Hitcher.
The Hitcher. Also, not showing. This is weird. I'm not sure how much I like Just Watch these days. I need to go back to. There we go. The Hitcher Max Go as well.
Okay.
So no.
Which one is that one? The 86 one.
Yeah.
That's such a cool thing. That
Really,
movie.
C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, using a couple semis to emulate a wishbone.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember from it.
It's just really well made. It's a great thriller, and he's super, super good in it. Do not confuse it, though, with the horrible, regrettable, put a pin in my eye version that came out in 2007, the remake called The Hitcher. It was awful. Piece of poopski. Do not watch it.
I don't know that one at all.
It's bad, Brian. Let's see who was in it. Sean Bean, who I love.
Oh,
He was the
does he
Hitcher.
die?
Yes, he
I
does
guess
die.
he does if he was the Hitcher. Yeah.
Yeah, plus he's Sean Bean. You have to die.
Yeah.
Sophia Bush, Zachary Knighton, Neil McDonough. Oh, we like him.
Oh, Neil McDonough. Okay.
Yeah. Kyle Davis, Danny Borello.
With his piercing blue eyes.
Yeah, it's
Neil
very
McDonough.
piercing. Gets me every time. All the potential in the world, you blew it. You had a perfect movie in the 80s to work from, and you blew it. Well done, guys. Well done. All right.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. He was a cool dude. My snake has a new place to live. So you remember the lady that came and took my blood and I peed in a cup for her and all that stuff?
Yes.
She was here doing that, all the insurance stuff. Well, that was fun, and I sure enjoyed that. But, here's the best part. I forgot to tell you guys this. When she had me do the blood test, before she had me do that, she had me go pee in a cup. And the way it works now is you go pee in a cup, and then you pour half of your pee into one vial that has like a little pill at the bottom of it.
Okay.
And then another vial that has nothing in it, and I don't know why you need both, but I guess the one pill reacts with it, and if I'm doing, opium or something, it's going to show
Testing
up.
your pH, testing your pH balance.
I guess so, sure.
Like you're a hot tub or something. Yeah.
Oh, I hated that part of the hot tub ownership. I'm so glad I don't own one anymore. It's such a pain in the ass to try to manage that thing. But anyway, I went and I did it, and the way it worked is you had the little cup, and it has a little spout on it, and then you're supposed to pour it into the two units there. And then I took it back in there, and she wasn't back from her car yet, so I just set them in the box in front of where she was sitting. Mm-hmm. She came back and she goes, "All right, now where's the urine?" And I said,
I like how you're almost doing the Joker. You're almost doing the Heath Ledger Joker. Where's the urine?
Where's Harvey Dent? And where's the urine? And she says, "Where's the urine?" I said, "Oh, I did it already." She goes, "Oh, now where did we put it?" And I said, "Oh, it's right here in this box." And she picked up the two vials and she held them in her hand and kind of like did this with her fist. And she goes, "Ooh, still warm." I just thought that was weird. So,
yeah.
Side note. Anyway.
Yes, they are. Enjoy that.
She now owns my snake. And it's not a euphemism.
So I got to know where because it's almost like one of those yada, yada, yada things, right? Like, oh, yeah, she came and took my blood and grabbed my urine, and now she has my snake.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like, it does seem stupid unless you hear it. So this is how it went. We got to talking with her while she's doing all her processing, and talking about her family and her kids, and she was like, "Oh, my 15-year-old daughter, she's just an animal nut," because we were talking about all the dogs that are around and stuff. Plus, we were babysitting somebody's cat, or cat sitting, I guess. And so she was talking, "Oh, yeah, my kids love, especially my 15-year-old. She's got multiple snakes and this and that." She's naming all this. And Kim goes, "Ooh, snakes, you say? How would she feel about a ball python? It's about 6 feet long. Does she feel like doing that?" And I looked at Kim like, "Oh, are we giving Norman away?" Like, I didn't realize we were doing this.
Yeah, that's an awfully good question, because it does seem like it was out of nowhere. Like,
a little bit.
You guys hadn't been discussing getting rid of the snake? She just...
I mean, it comes up once in a while because the kids are terrible at taking care of him, and so Kim and I always do it, even though it's Nick's snake, technically.
Whose snake is it really supposed to be?
Supposed to be Nick's. Supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's had it since 2011, 12. It's been, he was like 11 years old when he got it. Mm-hmm. And he's big, and he's healthy, and he's great, and we always feed him, and we always water him, but the kids don't do jack. So basically what this is, hey, Nick had a cool thing when he was 11.
He doesn't care so much about it now.
He's 19. It's not a priority, right? Like, it's just not. So we thought, well, hey, hold on a minute. If your daughter's really into it, maybe this is a good move. And so we did that. She came by and picked up the snake. She now has Norman. So I'm just saying, everybody pour out a little something for Norman. We had him. We loved him. He was great. We don't
pour out a jar of live mice in honor of Norman as a new home.
Oh, that was the other thing, is we still had some frozen mice in the freezer, and she took those as well. So she took the whole schmear, took the tank and the warmers and the whole kit and caboodle.
Are you ever going to go visit him? Like, will we see reunion of the snake? There's a long way to go for that joke.
Whatever, dude. You go as far as you need to for a Duran Duran reference.
I'll take it. I own it. Yeah.
It's a good deep cut. No, I'm guessing no.
You're not gonna. Yeah, you don't care. You're done.
I mean, I really liked
you
him.
and Norman had your time together.
Yeah, he was great. He'd wrap around my neck. We'd take walks to the coffee place over here. Like, he's a great snake. He's exactly what you want from a ball python. They can't really express much affection, but they'll hang around you and stuff. They're cool.
Wait. So you would actually you'd go out and like to the coffee shop with him around your neck?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'd walk around the park with him. Yeah. I mean, I haven't done it lately as much, and I wouldn't do it in the hot summer because I don't think that's good for him, or maybe it's okay for him, given that he's a snake. But I would. He'd love to just kind of loop around your neck and then just chill there. And
That's cool.
he wouldn't squeeze. He would just kind of lay there, fall asleep a lot. And it was always fun to, like, some neighbor kids. We want to see the snake, and you'd let him in and let him hold the snake, and the snake would get around their arm, and some kids would freak out. And that's always that stuff is fun. I'll miss that. But I don't think Norman cares. He just wants a mouse every 2 weeks and someone to love.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and now he'll have that in this this kid who's going to be taking care of him. That's awesome.
I still don't know if he has a wiener or a vagina. I don't know if it's a woman or woman.
Oh, really?
Or a man or a woman.
It's
snake.
Norman's and Norma.
Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea. We just said Norman because we assumed male, but we don't know where to look. I don't know how to tell.
Well, yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, because it's like they got a little. The only thing on the snake body that's like a exit or entrance is just the little butthole part, and that doesn't come out unless he's got to go. So you don't even see it really. It's just one shaft. It's a big shaft of a snake. So there's no way to look at it and go, there's where his wiener is. We just never knew. Rainbow Bright says she lifts its skirt. I don't know.
There's only ever an opening when it's like the Star Destroyer at the beginning of A New Hope. You only ever see when it's loading a whatever that the princess's ship was, the
what was that
Tent
called?
of 4 or whatever it was called.
Yeah, whatever that thing with the way too many jet things and a little tiny body to float around.
Right.
It was an ugly ship. It's very ugly. Also, who was flying it? Freaking Jimmy Smits was flying it, turns out.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, Star Wars. Way to retcon that business. Good job. Oh, Corvette. Right. Is it a Corvette? Oh, no, Carillion Cruiser. That's it.
Carillion Cruiser, yeah.
Yeah, Carillion Cruiser.
But it was called the Tent of 4, wasn't it? Or am I thinking of a different thing? Tent of 4 is a planet, isn't it?
I don't know. Hold on.
Blockade Runner. That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you, Rusty Nails. It was the Blockade Runner. Yeah.
Her ship is called the Lead Ship. No. Sorry. All right, let's see what Yahoo Answers says. Okay. It says, the name of Princess Leia's ship from the original Star Wars movie is seen in Revenge of the Ship. What? What is that? Revenge of the Ship? I can't take this seriously. The name of
it's Tantive? Tantive 4.
Tantive 4.
Tantive 4.
Tantive. Tantive 4.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Darth Marquis says it's pronounced, or Darth Marcus. Darth Marcus says pronounced Tantive. Tantive 4.
And it says of the planet Alderaan, so they own it, I guess. Alderaan owns it.
No, they're really just leasing it.
Yeah, they're just I got a really good deal. Don't put too many miles on it, and your payments will be fine. All right. Well, that was a fun little dip into everything and all things at once.
Oh, man, no kidding.
Let's do this now.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive, sensational summary of world and local events.
All right, we're going to do some news, and it is brought to you by...
Hey, Scott, do those TPS reports have you down?
Yes.
Can't stand another day in the spice mines on Kessel?
No.
Are you tired of welcoming your new computer overlords?
Yes.
You need a vacation, but more specifically, you need a vacation that's custom designed for you. Don't trust your precious vacation time and dollars to a faceless booking engine on a website. Contact Jana with Purple Martin Vacations at bit.ly/nerdtravel. Love that. Yep. And let's plan a vacation that's tailored to your needs and preferences. Nearly all of my services are free, including cruise planning and all-inclusive resorts. Plus, you're supporting a nerd-run small business by booking with me. If you're worried that Janice from accounting will overhear your travel plans on the phone, we can even plan your vacation via email and text. Request a free vacation quote at bit.ly/nerdtravel. That's bit.ly/nerdtravel.
Very nice. I like the concept.
Very cool. I love this.
Yeah, it's very cool. Also, that name
is
interesting.
Jana. This is such a cool...
Her name is Jhna, which rhymes with Donna, I was told.
Yeah, Jana. Yep.
And I've never heard that name before, and it's very cool.
I've heard... I have a friend named Scott who married a woman named Jonavi, and it's basically spelled Jahnavi, I think. So Jonavi.
Jonavi. That's a cool
Jonavi.
Cool thing.
Yeah.
I like it. Good luck with that, and hopefully some people will tap you for that.
Totally, yeah. Like, come on, she's one of us, and she wants to plan your vacation, and
Yeah.
most of her services are free. So
That's right.
take advantage of this. Nerd Travel, bit.ly/nerd travel.
Nerd travel. Let's talk
I
about
want to go visit a bunch of Game of Thrones castles, Scott.
That'll do it. Come to Nerd Travel. I'll get you hooked up. Naked man in the news. Let's talk about this naked man.
Naked man.
It's actually from yesterday. A naked man jumps on Volvos at a Portland dealership and all the trouble he's caused.
It's Volvos.
Volvos.
I misunderstood you. I thought I was jumping on something else, but you say they're Volvos. Okay.
Mulva. It's Duncan Roberts is his name. Or no, I'm sorry. Duncan Roberts is the dude at the thing. I don't want to say he was the naked guy.
He's the owner of a Volvo dealership. Yeah.
Correct. He's seen many things as his time as owner of the dealership in Portland, but he was still taken aback by the surveillance footage from early Monday. That's when a naked man was seen jumping on and vandalizing cars in the parking lot of DLR Nordic, just off Barber Boulevard. I don't know where any of that is. I'm sure people there know.
Sure.
Naked man was seen jumping on and vandalizing the cars there. The man, who's not been identified, entered the parking lot while completely nude. Nude. I love how that sounds. Lava nude.
Completely nude.
Began jumping up and down on the hood of the and roof of a Volvo before jumping on a second car. You can see him walking across the street. Moments later, the man is sliding down the front windshield. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, you really gave me a visual with that sound effect. Oh my gosh. That's horrifying.
Ow, that's red now. That's red and burns.
Yeah, that'll burn you. Says here, let's see. An aluminum hood of a Volvo can cost as much as $1,300, he says, in addition to paint, labor, and the deductible. The total damage was about $15,000. And I assume they find the guy? They don't say.
I hope. Although
they don't say here.
No, they usually, an article like this, unless he's a minor, they would actually say, the name of the person. So maybe he maybe he got away.
Oh, look at this, chat. You can see a very fuzzy image of this dude. Let me pull this up here. Yeah, look at him there. That's him.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there he is on the
So this is the middle of the night, apparently.
Man, drugs are rough, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to assume this is drug related, right? Like,
stay away from the meth, kids. Yeah.
Let's see if we can get some footage.
This is Portland. I assumed Portland, Oregon, but.
Oh, here you go. They have footage. Check this out. There's video, you guys.
I'm still seeing the two happy newscasters talking about.
Well, they just.
Here we go. Now we got guy. This guy's leaning against a Volvo too. Is he vandalizing it?
He's the reporter guy.
I know.
You're being. You're. I got you.
Here we go. Now we're getting to the footage. Okay.
Yeah, and they're blurring out his potato.
His mini.
Yeah. His mini. his vulva. He's yeah. All right. Well, if I were them,
yeah, he really is sliding down the windshield on his butt.
Yeah, it's gross. If I were them, I would throw the book at him, aim it at his crotch. That's what I'd do.
Yes, exactly.
Throw that book. Yeah, I wouldn't buy that car either. Crimson Neon. You'd have to cut a serious deal on that car now. Like, I would want to know. It's like that time I told you guys about the time my dad brought a car home from LA that had a bullet wound, or somebody had been like killed execution style in this car, right. And the bullet was still in the other side panel of the car, rattling around in there, and the seat was just like soaked with blood. It was awful. He fixed that up and sold it to somebody. It's haunted, Brian. Haunted.
I mean, I would want a discount for sure, but I don't think I'd care. Is it that much worse than pigeon crap? Like, can you just go to a car wash, go through the rolling brushes?
But what about the dude getting shot? What about the guy getting shot?
Oh, well, that's a little worse. Yeah, I mean, that's almost like a, dude, check it out. I've got a car with a bullet hole in it. I kind of wouldn't want to have that part fixed.
I would feel weird. I mean, you'd want the seat fixed, obviously, and stuff, but
Well, yeah.
I just like
Replace the
somebody
seat if
died
it's
in
all
here. Ugh.
soaked in blood. Sure.
He drove that all the way home from California with a seat soaked in blood.
Ugh.
I know. Like, Dad, what are you doing? Well, sometimes you gotta. I remember him trying to explain it.
Surely there's a way to like unhook that thing and just toss it out the side of the car when you're on the highway and say, "Yeah, done with that." Off into a ditch with that.
Yeah, what do you ride in? Do you sit on just put a blanket there and just sit? Like, how do you sit on the
Lawn chair.
That would work.
Lawn chair with bungee corded to those two rails. Sure.
Oh, weird. All right. Well, anyway, don't be naked is the lesson.
Yeah.
Speaking of naked people, perverts in bushes are ruining the nude zone of the Paris Park.
So there's a nude zone in the Paris Park.
Yes. I want Patrick to go and like get pictures and stuff.
Didn't we why did I feel like we talked about this when we talked about the they had the trash can urinals. Remember, like they were
right.
They were urinal, like stand-up trash can urinals you could just walk up to, stick your business in there.
Yep. And let rip. Yep.
I wonder if that's if they have those in the nude park, because that would kind of be the.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't need them as much, or you wouldn't need so much privacy, I suppose, though.
You wouldn't. No, not at all.
Naturalists in the Paris Park have complained that voyeurs and exhibitionists are spoiling their naked enjoyment.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there really are people hiding in the bushes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is for real.
No, like right like stereotype. I mean, it's almost like they're like the playbook, the stereotype playbook. Well, I'm a pervert. I guess I'm supposed to hide in the bushes.
Yeah, they're Toms that are
and my
literally
name is
peeping.
Tom.
Yeah. I'm over here peeping.
Right.
The nudists say they are being pestered in this area of the city's Bois de Vincennes.
Bois de Vincennes.
Thank you. Where for the last 2 days they have been allowed to shed their clothes. An area of almost 2 acres of the park is set aside for naturalists between April and October, so it's a temporary thing. When it opened in 2017, city officials insisted no inappropriate behavior would be tolerated, a message reiterated in a sign at the entrance of the zone. But a number of naturalists have complained their peace is being disturbed by the, quote, reprehensible actions of a few non-nudists. One Bernard told Le Monde, voyeurs and exhibitionists come and bother the women. Of course, they are afraid. He added, sometimes there's a police unit that comes by, and if they don't catch anyone in flagrant...
Police unit.
What is?
Police unit. All right, keep going.
I can't believe I just skimmed right over that.
There's a police unit in the nudist park.
Let's see. Here it is. Oh, others complained of perverts hiding in bushes. Local Mayor Catherine Barber says police have been asked to increase park patrols after reports of voyeurism and exhibitionism. Let's see. The president of the Paris Naturalists Association, who was involved in choosing the place as the naturalist zone, said the problems were being exaggerated. After I heard of all these complaints, I spoke to a male friend who goes to this naturalist area every day. He told me he'd never seen any sordid activity or activities that don't correspond to the idea of naturalism. Oh, yeah, that's the way to do it. Ask one of your guy friends who goes and does the nude stuff if he's seen any pervy activity.
Right.
That'll get you the perfect answer every time. Nice job. Well done.
So they should, here's how I would solve this problem. They have to go into this kind of sheltered area of the park, right? Like it's an area that's set aside for naturists.
Yeah.
And you've got an entrance to the zone, like they say right there. Have a booth at the entrance where you have to leave your clothes. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to be a voyeur, then you got to be a naked voyeur, and well, you know, you're fair game. Now you're just as vulnerable as the rest of these baguettes out here.
The voyeur has become the voyee.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. I like it. Brian's got a solution. Put that into effect, Mayor. Whatever your name was, Barrett to Bats.
Bernard.
Yeah.
I know he's just a nudist.
He's just a nudist. I mean, would you? Okay, I got a question for Brian.
Sure.
I can't believe it's taken this many years to ask this question on the air. If there was we don't even say Paris. You're just flying somewhere south of France, something like that. I don't know, somewhere
Sure.
in the world where they've got nude beaches.
Sure. And I have been.
You've been to a nude beach?
I've been to a nude beach, yeah.
Were you nude on the beach?
I was not.
Okay.
It was Bondi Beach in Australia.
Okay.
Actually, and I think there was an area, feels like in Miami Beach, where there was nudity. There were a lot of gay people, Scott, but it was
Okay.
but I mean, men were all wearing stuff, but there were a couple women walking around with no tops. But Bondi, I wouldn't have an issue with being nude on a nude beach. However, we were there with Tina's friends
Yeah.
who were, kind of hosting us on this trip, and Tristan, who was
Young.
4 at the time. and yeah, I don't feel the need to, like, it was just Tina and I. And if Tina was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it if you will, then I would totally have no problem with being nude on the beach.
I don't think I
But
could do it. I couldn't do it.
I will say this. Bondi Beach breaks that whole rule of nude beaches where the people who are nude on a nude beach are people you wouldn't want to see nude on a nude beach. Bondi Beach was like, this is where all the pretty people are hanging out. I mean, it's a beautiful beach, blue waters. I mean, the whole reason Steve Jobs named that first iMac Bondi Blue or Bondi Blue was because it was just such a beautiful, the color of the water and everything is just really beautiful.
Sure.
But that would almost be the only issue I'd have. I wouldn't mind, walking around, people see me naked, whatever. They're all naked too. But it's like, yeah, it's almost like somebody shoved a page of I don't know, Wizard magazine into an issue of Vogue or Cosmopolitan.
Oh.
And I'd be that weird it'd be that weird page from Ranger Rick's or Field and Stream or
Yeah, I don't think I
Popular
could.
Mechanics in a Cosmopolitan magazine.
Sure, I get it, and I respect it. I just could not do it. There's no way. I'd be so self-conscious. I don't care if they're all naked or not.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, all right. There's no way. There's not a chance. I'm ever in
really.
the buck in public like that. Never. Ever. Oh my gosh, I can't even think about it. Me walking around going, hey, what's going on? You guys want to grab lunch later and how about a little volleyball?
Hun,
You want volleyball?
Hun, could you put some sunscreen on me, please?
Oh my gosh, I just cannot imagine it. I barely want to go shirtless at a beach.
That's funny.
I'm too self-conscious, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I don't care. I figure they're not there to look at me. so what do I care?
Yeah.
That's
a good attitude to have. I think I would struggle though. I really would.
I'm that weird crawler in the bakery display case that everyone bypasses to look at the really pretty cakes and that kind of misshapen croissant in the corner.
Yeah. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, that's going on. Hey, quit being perverts, everybody in France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French perverts.
Yeah, that's supposed to be.
I mean, voyeur. It's a French word, so there you go.
Oh, that's
voyeur.
true. Yeah, the voyeur, pervert.
Yeah, that's
pervert.
where this was invented.
The word
Peeping.
How about the word pervert? Hold on. Pervert.
Pervert is how it's pronounced, Scott.
Yeah, pervert. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up. Is this a French origin? It might be.
I don't think. Oh, might be.
Pervert origin and meaning. Here we go.
Okay.
1300 AD. Turn someone aside from the right religious belief to a false erroneous one. Here it is. Old French word, which meant to pervert or undo or destroy. Yeah, it is French origin. There you go. Yeah, sounds like something.
So it might have actually been pronounced pervers.
Yeah, pervers. In fact, the original word was Pervertir.
Pervertier.
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 Right. That's what they call, what's his name? We were making fun of the other day.
Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah, he's a pervert for sure. That guy. It is true that who said it? Senko Oshi in the chat says anything sexual must have come from French origin. It does seem that way. Like a lot of origin to that stuff, those words anyway. A lot of it is French. Anyway.
Do you guys have I'm sure you've got one in Utah or in Salt Lake City, but a sexy bakery place, like where they make,
And there's also like hair places that it's like young hot ladies doing your hair and they're wearing just tiny bikinis and stuff.
Lingerie or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, or
we
lingerie.
have one here called A Little Off the Top.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ours was something like that too. It was like it may have been the same. May have actually been the same. It was some kind of play on that.
Fantastic Sam's.
Yeah. Great Clips. It was called.
Fantastically Nude Sam's.
Yeah. Great Clips.
Yes. We'll be careful how you say that one.
Bikini Cuts. That's it. Bikini Cuts. Darth Marcus knows. He's here. He's from here. He knows.
The Darth Marquis de Sade knows.
Yep. He is aware of it. It was Bikini Cuts.
With
they were
all
in
this
West
French
Jordan.
talk now, I've got to call him, Darth Marquis.
Yep. Funny. It's a funny scene in my head. You walking into a topless barber.
Right.
With no hair on your head.
Right.
And then trying to explain what you need while you're there. Just that you're not there just for the topless ladies, that you are actually there for some sort of hair care. That's pretty great. Anyway, that's the thing. Let's move on to this. There was a man arrested. Taylor Swift. Are you familiar with Taylor Swift?
She is a singer, isn't she? She's a crooner, isn't she?
Yep. We're gonna let her finish. That's her. She's also one of the cats in that Cats thing, that Abomination.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep. So she's in there. So anyway, apparently somebody's been stalking her. A man outside Taylor Swift's home had a crowbar, lockpicks, and rubber gloves, and has been busted. An Iowa man told police that he traveled to Westerly, Rhode Island because he was hoping to visit with the pop star Taylor Swift, was arrested near the singer's home carrying a backpack containing more than 30 lockpicks and several other burgle tools. David Page.
Is he
Little.
French?
That's another cool French word. Let's see. David Page Little, 32 years old, was charged Friday with possession of burglary tools and possession of a prohibited weapon other than a firearm, according to online jail records. Swift was not at the house at the time of Little's arrest. Chief, the department confirmed. Little of Des Moines, Iowa. We got some Iowa folks in the chat today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some Iowans.
We're not judging you based on this one guy, okay? Everybody in Iowa, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just help us be better at the next election. Was arrested after residents in the Watch Hall Village reported seeing someone suspicious near the boatyard. Everyone's got a boatyard.
Yeah, Taylor Swift and her boatyard. How come we've never heard about her boatyard in one of her songs?
You'll never hear about my boatyard.
We are never, ever going to the boatyard together.
Ever. That's the right song. That's the right one to do it with.
Yeah, right.
It says
that's the one.
He had all this stuff. They searched his bag. I'm skipping ahead because they just repeat themselves a little bit here. He told police that he took a train from New York City to Westerly because he wanted to visit with her. He had said he had traveled to Nashville and Memphis, Tennessee. The 29-year-old singer also has property in Nashville, among other places. So he's probably the worst kind of stalker, knows way too much about where she's at, and
and also has got it kind of in his head that she's expecting his visit, and would like him to stop by with his crowbar and his burglary tools.
Clearly she's open to this. It seems like a thing she wants in her life. So
she knew he was trouble.
Yeah. Trouble. Oh, that's the one with the goat. They always put the goat in there.
With the goat. Yeah. I will never ever hear that song without not wanting the goat. Trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble.
I love goats that sound like people. Yeah. Okay. The only other thing I would say about this thing with her is it reminded me of something I just learned, which is what's his name? Post Malone. Post Malone. Are you familiar with Post Malone? He's very popular these days.
When he was pre-Malone, but yes, he's fine now that he's post Malone. Sure.
I mean, here it has a funny connotation here because when Karl Malone and John Stockton were all the rage for the Utah Jazz, and we almost won an NBA championship in the '90s, Malone was a power forward, and he was always in the post. So hearing the name Post Malone is weird here. It sounds funny.
Yeah, no kidding.
But anyway, Post Malone, he's cool. I like him. I like his music a lot, actually. I think he's super interesting. And he bought a place up in Park City, some huge place up there, some monstrous palatial, overlook the entire valley, built into the side of the mountain, $12 million joint up there. And so now I guess my neighbor is Post Malone. And he has that song where he sings about the Utah snow. But I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He likes it here, I guess. Huh. I don't know why, but he likes it.
I like that Sunflower song.
That one's good. I like Rockstar. I like what's the other one Nick always plays in the car? There's another one I really like. Mm-hmm. I don't know, he's interesting. He's
Did you do that thank you? Thank you. I just say thank you or something like that. Is that?
I think so. Is that him?
Oh, congratulations. That's what it is. I'm singing thank you, but I mean, you say congratulations. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, when somebody tells you congratulations, you say thank you. Yeah. Hi, I'm a white guy who likes hip hop.
I like the hip hop.
Yes.
He's a talented
you
young
say,
fella.
Well done, sir.
So we like cranking him in the car now that we know he lives here, or at least part of the year he hangs out here.
Well, and if he overhears you playing his music, he might invite you up to his house with some burglary tools and a crowbar.
Yeah, it would take a lot, I think. He's got some serious security up there, but
yeah,
that guy went from dude making cool music in his bedroom to mega monster pop magnet in 3 years or something.
Music juggernaut.
It's crazy. All right, final story here.
Yeah.
ABC.
About this.
Yeah, me too. ABC is making a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy original series on Hulu, and that's good because I like my streaming services. Hitchhiker's Guide, of course, had film adaptation in 2003, 4, whatever it was, and I've always felt they're one of my favorite series of books I've ever read. Period. Like I absolutely love them, especially the second book, Restaurant at the End of the Universe, is one of my favorite things ever. Yeah. And I always thought, oh, this is going to be so hard to make, and then Douglas Adams passed away in like the early aughts, and what was it, 2000 or 2001, sometime near when my dad died. I always remember that, but and I remember thinking, well, that's it. We're never going to get anything good out of that because he's not here to sort of oversee it. But then he wrote that script. The movie's based on that. The movie is fun, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Great cast, though. I mean,
incredible cast. It's incredible.
Sam Rockwell and Martin Freeman. Who was...
Oh, that was... it was a rapper.
Tricky? Not Tricky.
Nope.
Is it Tricky?
Nope.
Ford?
Des Lope.
Oh, Most Def. Yes. Des Lope. There we go. We've both demonstrated our hip hop knowledge quite accurately.
What happened to him anyway? He's not doing anything now. Mos Def. I'm looking him up.
Yeah.
He has
Des Lope.
Des Lope. Oh, his real name's Yaslin Bey? I didn't know that.
Oh. It's not as bad as Des Lope. I mean, that's on par with Des Lope.
He has not done anything really since Dexter. He was on Dexter in 2011.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
And now he's in something called The Disconnected, which is in pre-production. He no longer goes by Mos Def. Anyway, I liked him. I think Martin Freeman was the perfect Arthur Dent, or not Arthur Dent. Arthur Dent.
Yeah, he was Arthur Dent. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I mean, my uncle introduced me to the radio play or the radio drama. I can't really call it radio drama, but the radio play.
Sure.
As a kid, and recorded all those onto cassettes for me. And when I worked for a while, I worked at a ceramic doll manufacturing company. Mm-hmm. And as I was sanding dolls, sanding porcelain, I guess they were porcelain, not ceramic. I would listen to the Hitchhiker's Guide nonstop, and then I'd listen to the Star Wars radio dramas.
That's awesome because
yeah,
that stuff's so good. Like the audio play version of this the BBC did that you're talking about is still good. It still holds up. It's very good.
It really does. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Zooey Deschanel was what's her face? Was not Trinity. I want to say Trinity.
Trillian. You know,
You want to see? Actually, we found when we were cleaning out my grandmother's house. It's still in the process of doing it. We found one of the porcelain dolls I made. You want to see this scary damn thing?
Let's see it. You got it right there.
I have it close.
All right. While you're grabbing it, I will also remind everybody that you had both Snape and Flitwick from Harry Potter's universe in one body. You had what's his name playing the body of the robot, Marvin the Martian, or Marvin the robot.
Right. Yeah, and you had I forgot that.
Yep.
That was Rickman.
Alan Rickman asking for those detonators once again.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
Warwick.
All right. You ready? This
yeah.
will frighten you. This will give you nightmares, Scott.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's It Part 3.
Okay. Oh my lord, dude.
Ah.
That's scary. Is it supposed to be scary? Is it supposed to be?
No, it's not. It's supposed to be a cute little porcelain doll. I used to.
Oh my gosh.
Basically, this head you're seeing was one that I sanded and painted and.
How'd you get the hair on there? What kind of?
There was a woman who did all the hair and clothes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh my gosh, I don't like that thing at all.
and its head, like, this is old, so its head doesn't, like, it's kind of floppy and.
Yeah.
Oh, its head.
What's the it phrase where he says everything's great down here? What does he say?
Yeah. We can float down here.
Everything we have floats there, whatever it is. Yeah. That's awful. That's awful. But yeah, we all float.
Awesome.
I'm actually looking forward to that sequel. It looks hardcore. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it does. I hope it doesn't make a lot of money, but I hope it does all right.
Yeah, I hope it's very good made and fun to watch, but I don't have any desire to see it make a lot of money for very personal reasons that Brian and I only know about.
Exactly. How are we doing? Because I know Lion King was one of the things we were worried about. Although we never talked about Endgame making enough to finally beat Avatar and become the biggest film of all time.
Yep, it did it. Everyone thought it wouldn't because of the re-release thing with the extra credit stuff, but it worked. It passed it. And
so all John Trekker needs, the John Trekker team, M. Trekker, is for It Chapter 2 to make $80 million, which I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
All right.
No. Sword and Laser, I mean, Lion King just had its first weekend, $212 million, but I'm sure it'll probably do another.
It'll do okay.
Yeah, all they need is $100 million for Tom and Company to beat us. So,
Lion King not doing great.
Tom and Company. I reduced Veronica down to "and the rest" from the Gilligan's Island theme.
Perfect. That's what
Tom
you want.
And the rest.
Well, let's see. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's already got some reviews going.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Is that this weekend? I think it is. Chock full of brilliant moments, great performances, a sense of the 60s Hollywood infused with a mix of fairy tale nostalgia and clear-eyed realism. There's a lot to love and once in time. Let's see. The film benefits from a committed, laser-focused performance by DiCaprio and Pitt, the latter of whom essentially brings a sly knowingness to the subtleties of playing second banana. Let's see. The greatest compliment I can give is that after sitting for 2 hours and 45 minutes, I was immediately ready to do it again. Wow. All right. People like it.
Wow. Cool.
Well done. It's because I got so many feet, and it's all feet. All these feet I put in there.
And I looked at the movie poster when we went and saw Toy Story 4. As we were coming out, Tina, to go to the bathroom, and I went over and looked at the movie poster for whatever it is, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And you have to scan. There's so much stuff on that movie poster. There is a little tiny Charles Manson that's maybe an inch high. So come on, people! You got to forgive me for not realizing this was a Charlie Manson movie, and I had no idea that.
I still say that A, you're right about what you're saying right now, and B, I think the movie is only a little of him. As far as I know, it's not like that's the main thing. I don't watch. I guess I don't know. It
seems focused on DiCaprio and Brad Pitt and and Margot Robbie and that whole thing.
And Margot Robbie is Shannon Tate. She's the one that gets murdered. So we assume that there's something going on there. I just don't know enough about the movie because it feels like Tarantino's building a lot of weird stuff around.
Oh, did you say Shannon Tate? It's Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate. Did I say Shannon?
It's actually it's Jessica Tate. This movie is the tale of two sisters.
Great.
Jessica Tate
Yeah.
and Mary Campbell.
One perfect. Looks like
These are the Tates.
These are the Tates.
And these are the Campbells.
Meet the Tates.
All right, anyway.
Anyway, Hitchhiker's Guide coming to Hulu. It's the main thing there.
Forget to bring a towel.
They're going to head the series with Carlton Cuse, one of the showrunners behind Lost, Bates Motel and Lock and Key, as well as Jason Fuchs, whose writing includes Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. They will write and executive produce the project under ABC Signature. This is the streaming service division of ABC Studios. Let's see. This is a they did say this to Deadline, which makes me slightly nervous. It says it is a quote modern updating of the classic story. I don't know about that. I don't know how about that. I like it or not.
We have to make it appeal to current audiences.
Yeah, they'll have cell phones.
Yeah, I'm worried about that, and I'm also worried about the fact that it's ABC Signature because I feel like that is, it just feels sanitized.
Yeah,
and not like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was this big racy, F-bomb fest or something, but
it wasn't.
Yeah.
The best thing about that movie, or one of my favorite things, was the work that Henson Workshop did with the Vogons. They're still just amazing designs. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a Vogon 12-inch action figure somewhere. Vogon.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's really rad. Someone sent that to me years ago. But yeah, we'll see.
To a little green globule or someone. I remember the.
It's so good.
The poetry that he had.
It's so good. Everything about those books is amazing, and it deserves some good treatment. So I hope they can pull this off. All right, we're going to pull something else off. That is a break in the show where we play a song. Wendy will be back here to talk to us here in a minute. We got a bit of a follow-up to last week, which turns out to be one of our most popular segments we've ever done with her. So we'll talk about that, why, and what this follow-up's about in a minute. But before that, a song from Brian Ibbott.
All right, you finish?
Yeah, I'm done.
He's Finnish.
Yeah.
Because this guy's Finnish. Since November is a Helsinki-based indie pop band fronted by Tomi Makila. He's been in bands like The Crash and Magenta Sky Code, but a little while ago he started his own solo project, which is called Since November, to actually explore the space theme. So this guy is like, I don't know, kind of a David Bowie branching out on his own with his own kind of Major Tom. This is awesome. I'm loving this. This is the third single from his album. It's called Airplane Astronaut, and it's about the right man in the wrong place. You're going to love the audio, the voice synthesis stuff that goes along with this. If you hear it. I don't know if you get to hear the song, but if you...
I will today.
If the gods smile upon you and you get music.
They're going to hear it today. I guarantee it.
There you go. The band is Since November. Here's the song Airplane Astronaut.
All right, we'll be right back.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days. Now we're stressed out, stressed out.
Lucky for you, I pull my punches.
Their milkshakes bring all the boys to the yard. This is the Morning Stream.
All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. For those asking if that was Daryl, that was not Daryl singing that song. That was somebody else.
No, but they had kind of a Daryl vocal quality to them.
Very Daryl-esque for sure.
Yeah.
Daryl-esque. You haven't said esque as much as you used to. You used to say that a lot.
No, I know. And then the chat room, the tadpole kind of called me on it.
They'll do that. They like to get after us.
They will, exactly. Remember when I said absolutely all the time?
Yep.
We had audio of like, oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. I mean, look, they have an impact. That's for sure.
That's right. They do.
Wendy, are you there? Oh, hi. Good morning. Hello. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
That's good. We're fine. Hey, I hear you've got like spies coming, or you hired my other sister, Misha, to come spy the area that we live in to make sure the pool and everything's good enough or something. Is that true? What's going on with that? I feel
Is that how she described it?
No, she was just like, Misha's like, I need to come out there and I need to just check everything and look at everything and make sure everything's okay because Wendy wants to make sure. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Just somebody call me and ask me and I'll tell you what's happening. But I figured it's just Misha being all busybody and you know.
Well, I think it's Misha because we had a plan to go up to what's it called? Snowbird. And we already know what Snowbird's going to be like with trying to keep everyone together.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But Becky gets sick up there. She gets that, what is it called?
Altitude sickness. She got it last time.
Altitude sickness.
Yeah. When they were here for Nerdtacular in 2015, she got it real bad up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now I think, she goes up to Park City, which is only, 700 feet lower. So it's not, I think it might be psychological at this point to go back to the place where you got really sick. Like, I think that's harder than that it's actually the altitude itself. That, like, I get it when you go to, what is that place down south that's 10,000 feet? That's
Brian Head just about murdered me.
Brian Head. Yeah, Brian Head is rough. And that's the base of this ski resort. Like, when you actually ski.
Yeah, they have it's a ski resort, but also like a lot of camping and other stuff, and it is so high up.
It's so high.
It's just, it puts me, I had to lay down for most of it up there. Wow. I'm a puss.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah. So I think for her, anyway, we just don't want her to come all that way and be sick. That's stupid. So anyway, we want to move it to where you guys are, but we just want to make sure there's places to go and kind of plan the day. It's not about are your facilities good enough. It's about
that's what I thought.
It's like, where are we gonna sit for lunch, and where's the pool compared to, because we don't want everyone going in 1,000 directions and not actually being together.
Sure. No, I totally agree. And I knew that. I 100% knew that that's what was going on. But it was Misha's approach is just funny. It sounded like she was like on an errand to like
pool's crappy.
Blanket the place and make sure, put she's gonna have sentries posted in different places and all that sort of thing. But it's fine. She's a very thorough sister. I'll put it that way.
She is. She's great.
All right.
Sending her spiders out.
I'm excited to see you guys when you come. It's gonna be fun. Oh, did you get my email about I guess Rushmore is weird right now?
Yeah. Great Rushmore. My one chance to see you. I guess they're doing construction all over. Anyway, we're just gonna drive by.
I was wondering what it meant by Rushmore is weird right now. Like the eyes start moving at weird times, and
at night they follow you. The eyes follow you as you drive by. No, I think it's just a bunch of construction, so you can't get up close at all. Not that you couldn't, not that before you could climb on their faces or anything, but I just mean like, you're
because didn't you used to be able to, and just now you can't? I think
so.
Story.
Yeah, it used to be treated
pre 9/11 when we could do whatever we wanted.
Yeah, nobody wants. Someone's gonna go put a pipe bomb in Lincoln's nostril and then blow half his face off, and we can't have that, right?
No, we can't be having that.
No, we can't have that. All right. Anyway, so I wish you luck on that, because I know that was going to be a cool stop for you guys, and now it sounds like it's going to be less so, but maybe.
I mentioned to somebody here, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to stop on the way. And the guy goes, do you like tourist traps? I'm like, what? He's like, do ya? Because that's what there is. I'm like, oh, okay, better much. He's like, I have to drive by that every time I drive, because a lot of people make the trek west and go that route,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm like, yeah, I love tourist traps, of course.
Yeah, they're fun. Especially the weirder, the better. Like, you're going to have a bunch of strange rocks at a place, or go, like some of these weird, like Nevada places you can stop where you're on your way to Vegas or something. Just little hole-in-the-wall tourist traps that they're trying to sell you polished rocks and freaking,
dehydrated frogs playing guitars with sombreros.
I love that stuff, dude. I love that stuff so much. There's a gas station between here and St. George that has a whole case where everything inside the case are different objects, and they can be anything as mundane as like a car or like a full-blown tank, and sometimes little homes or whatever, but they're all built out of bullet casings.
Whoa.
I know. It's the most like dumb gun culture offshoot thing you've ever seen, but it's the kitschiest, stupidest thing, and I love going in there. I love looking at that stuff. It's so dumb.
That's awesome.
Anyway, speaking of kitsch, no, not really. We're going to do a segment with Wendy. She comes on the show on Thursdays, has since the inception of the show back in 2011, and talks about issues of the day, people we can help with their psychological questions, their behavioral questions, whatever they may be. And last week, we had, we've had a lot of popular Therapy Thursday segments, but last week may be the most popular we've had. I've gotten more feedback, more people talking to us, more emails, more follow-up tweets, all that kind of stuff than we've had in a very long time about your topic of self-care.
Did people come up with their own top 10 lists of things that bring them joy? And
a lot of people did. In fact, that was the main feedback I got was, hey, I started my list. This is super cool. And nobody saw it as, I don't know, as goofy or silly to write all this stuff down. They all seemed to be taking it pretty seriously, which I think is kind of cool.
Cool.
By the way, so far, just looking at my top 10 list, and there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I've only been able to pull off 3 of my 10 things at least once a day, one of those things. So I have 8 other things that I haven't been able to work out, like steak and kimchi. The cold pillow. It's just a hard time of year. It's a hard time of year to get the cold pillow thing going, so that hasn't really worked out. Let's see. Oh, I guess it's 4. So there's 7 I
still
haven't
need
done.
to finish my list. I still have like 3 more slots to fill, and I got to figure out what those things are. What are the missing things that bring me joy?
Yeah, and a couple of them are just like nap with the dog and book on the porch. Those are my 2 favorites. I like those a lot. Anyway, so as a follow-up to last week, I'm going to read a thing. So Wendy, here it is. It's from somebody we'll just call M. I don't know if they wanted us to use their name, but it's a person we've already talked to. It's a follow-up. And they say this: Hey, Scott, it's me again. I just listened to last week's Therapy Thursday. I got my paper and pen out, and I could not come up with anything that brings me joy. I'm not kidding, says this person. I suffer from depression and anxiety. I have had counseling and have been taking medication for the past 15 years to help me deal with it. I also enjoy running, and that helps me feel better. Some days are very difficult. Like today, I feel like I have no value or worth in life. Some days I feel very low. I have had days where I would just lie in bed crying, and my wife would lie next to me and just rub my back and give me encouragement. Then I felt guilt. I feel like a grown man should not feel the way I do and should just grow up. Yes, I know that it's not true, and it is more complicated than that. Half of the time, nothing excites me. I don't have any hobbies, and nothing brings me joy. Brings me that joy that you guys were talking about. I feel like I am not good at anything, and I don't want to do anything, but I deal with it. How can I find joy? How do I find passion? How do I get over this numb feeling towards everything? I'm 41 years old and don't want to be like this for the rest of my life. Does Wendy have any advice? She mentioned if you can't add anything to the list, you are in trouble. I am in trouble, in all caps, says M. So, that made me really sad to read.
Yeah.
Because, he mentioned running here, and also he listens to our show. So as far as I'm concerned, he's got 2 cool things going on every day that bring him a little bit of joy. And so it made me wonder, and you can tell me I'm wrong here if I'm wrong, but it made me wonder if he's got things that do and he just doesn't know it. You know what I mean? Like they are bringing him joy, but because the cloud he has is so thick, it's difficult to tell the difference between that and just anything else that happens during his day.
Yes. So absolutely. I think you're right. So I'm going to derail for 1 second and go to rag on social media for a minute. But how often are people, you guys, anybody, watching someone else's passion?
Yeah.
And having this experience of like it actually kind of like deflating what you might find interesting because you're watching someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like you can go back through all of the commencement speeches from, I think it's the early 2000s up to 2010 or something. And it's like every single commencement speech ever given was follow your passion. Your passion will lead you to the blah, blah, blah. That is as if that's a universal experience to have this burning desire to start your app and then go for it. Right. And, but here's the challenge with that is that it is not a universal thing, but it was meant to feel as one. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what ends up happening we're watching someone like, I have joined my passion for travel with my passion for skincare. And they're just like doing whatever in Italy. And you're like, okay, what? And that is literally the opposite of, it's kind of a killer of what we were talking about last week.
Right.
And even as we talked, Brian, you were like, let's go gambling. That's awesome. That brings me joy. But that's still too big. And I think we have a tendency. Yeah, we have a tendency to like big, passionate, it runs your life. It should be the fire behind everything. And if I don't have it, move on and find it. There's a lot of very lost people who have bought into this idea. And I think it's not their fault because they were told at their commencement speech to do it. It's now shifted. People are not talking about follow your passions anymore in commencement speeches. So We've adjusted. So poor all of you millennials, basically.
The dictionary defines graduation as
this moving target
Yep.
changed by whatever. Anyway, so but take that idea though that it's influenced by the people around you a little bit, right? Like their life may look a certain way. But let's take this guy. He's running and he listens to the show. Just evidence of two things that he has interest in that make him feel good, I assume. I assume listening to you guys makes him feel good. And it does something for him. Makes him feel good at, blah, blah. Right there, he's got two more than someone else I'm really worried about. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Scott. It's about perspective and it's about having the things that actually mean something to you. Think of it as like the benefits of them actually get absorbed and give you nutrients versus, well, I'm supposed to like that, so I do that. I don't. I'm supposed to want to be around people, but when I'm around them, I'm exhausted. So it's like a game or a trap is probably a better way to put it.
Right.
Whereas if you can focus on what actually works for you and discover those things, if your energy could go there, that would make a big difference. I mean, he doesn't say that's what's happening for him, but he's got the baseline of sort of biochemically things have been off for years, right? Here is what I'm wondering, and I can't, maybe he's in the chat room, but I'm wondering what else he is doing.
Yeah.
Because first of all, our chemistry in our brain is incredibly powerful. And if he's on antidepressants and he's done some therapy, if he's not feeling relief from those two things, which how he's describing things right now doesn't sound like there's a lot of relief there. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm.
I mean, that's my feeling. It sounds like despite all of that, it's not that it's not working entirely. Maybe this would be, exponentially worse without it, but it does seem like we're not, he's not feeling any better or not better enough, not enough to say, all right, well, maybe that's not working either. Let's reevaluate the medication. Maybe there's a better thing, or maybe maybe I need a better therapist or something. The fact that he runs for fun or runs for to feel better or whatever is interesting to me, because you have always said physical activity, exercise is a great natural way to sort of kick depression in the butt sometimes, depending on severity and that sort of thing. The fact that he's able to do that makes me think that, he's got this one thing at least where he can that's conquering your depression, because really depressed people don't want to run. I guarantee it.
Right.
They don't want to go anywhere.
Well, and so he's literally doing the three things that are, the best of our ability at the moment is medication with therapy and physical exercise. Those three, that's a great combo. Mm-hmm. So my assumption here is that he's got a whole lot of storylines in his head that are keeping him in bed in the morning. Because, it's tough. It is tough. And obviously there's biochemical stuff. I don't want to discount that one bit, but I'm not sure what else there is other than, take a trip down to Peru and do some ayahuasca and see if we can have a breakthrough or something, right? Like there's more extreme versions of this, like go climb a mountain. I mean, people sometimes will do things that are on the extreme end because the regular prescribed stuff is just not kicking their brain into a different state. And so obviously there's stuff like that, or, meditation's a great thing to add to this regimen. And why meditation in particular, and me talking about storylines, is that's often the last frontier that you can get your mood stabilized by a medicine. It can help your thinking sort of chill out. Like it works especially for anxious thinking, can calm you down a little bit. But some of those storylines and some of your past stuff that created those storylines, you have to tackle that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like keeping a weight in your backpack the whole time while you're doing all the right things. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, of course, I haven't met with him to find out what that is, but
right.
So you can think of it in terms of like, let's put the two of you on a treadmill right now.
Okay. Me and Brian on a treadmill, same
Yep.
treadmill.
On a treadmill.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle treadmill and you two are on my side.
Oh, these are three treadmills then, not
three
us on.
treadmills.
Okay.
Are we doing a new OK Go video?
Sure. Yes, we are, exactly. Yeah,
right.
no, but I have a megaphone in my hand, and just periodically I turn to either of you and make fun of you.
Okay.
or I point out some body part of yours that's jiggling.
All right.
Or I just essentially tell you you're weak and you're not going to be able to do this. And also, like, you're going to hurt yourself. And, and I'm just kind of yelling at you with a megaphone. And at first you might think it's kind of funny, but then I'm going to get good at it. And then it's going to feel bad. So my question is, how fast are you going to be running by the end of this?
It seems like I will slow over time. I would anyway.
Just in feeling defeated and beat down and right.
Yeah, I'm literally going to ruin your ability to keep running.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just take that as an analogy for having certain voices or storylines in our heads. It's exactly the same.
Okay.
I'm doing life and someone with a megaphone, but the problem is the megaphone voice is our own voice. And that is yelling at me that I'm not good enough, I'm doing it wrong. He gives us a bunch of examples in his writing, which grow up. That is the voice of a mean coach, right?
Yeah.
On the treadmill with a megaphone. Does he have another one? I don't have the email in front of me. So I don't look it up. Is there another one like that?
No. I can't tell.
Okay.
What am I?
Okay. Well,
sorry.
And he's emailed us before, so I know a little bit more about his background, and he's had some tough stuff he's gone through. And things have gotten a little bit better in some areas. And so what ends up happening sometimes with anxiety and depression is it's like they like to live in there and they don't want to go anywhere. So if you kind of fix it in one area, it's going to try to move to another. And so maybe this depression has kind of always been there, but high stress over some previous life experiences, and this can be very common for people. You go through something really tough. Your endocrine system is exhausted from all of that stress, the cortisol, the not sleeping. Like we're living with sort of chronic stress, and then maybe there's relief of that, but the system isn't rebooted, right? So again, the biology of this is very real, and I don't want to discount any of that. But what is the storyline, and who's yelling at you through that megaphone? Needs to be like whoever his therapist is. If they've seen him for 15 years, you might want to try a new one, just because that's a long time. I've seen people for years, and sometimes I'm like, I'm running out of stuff. You need a new perspective, and so maybe there's that, but there's also could be, working with whoever you're working with to really challenge the storylines. Who is it? Who is yelling at you with that megaphone? First of all, what are they saying? And then how is it impacting you? And are you believing it? And how to get peace from that. CBT is a great strategy for sort of working on thinking and storylines. And then another great way is to sort of really explore your past, like who talked to you that way? Who started this? Or how did you learn to perceive the world this way? And then you can start to work with what you have. Knowing what it is half the battle. Knowing it's not real. Knowing that it is a person on a megaphone next to you on a treadmill, not actual, are you capable or not? Or are you good enough or not?
Is it possible that it's always been your own voice? Like, is it possible that it's just always, I don't know, as I say this, I realize that you're not a baby, and you don't, at 2 years old go, I don't like me. I don't like the things I do. It's always an external voice, right?
It is always an external voice. No, it is born with it. And I was just reading a really interesting book. You guys should check it out if you want to dive deep and be a little bit distressed. And also it's cool all at the same time.
Okay. All right.
I wouldn't recommend this to most clients. So let me just say that out loud. Because it's maybe a little triggering. It's called The Power of Meaning. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
The author is Emily Smith, and my glasses, I can't see what her middle name is. It's like Esperani.
Esperani?
Middle name Esperani or something.
No idea.
Anyway, Smith. So Emily Smith.
Okay.
We'll just stick with Emily Smith, but she does have an interesting middle name.
Yeah.
Anyway, called The Power of Meaning. And she goes through, why suicide has been so appealing to various people in history. And, she has this quote from Voltaire, because the concept of like, hey, everyone, let's look for happiness. We're always striving for this happiness, which doesn't exist. And what we've actually learned is that the more you're trying to be happy, the more elusive it becomes. And so we've kind of a little bit mixed up in society. The worse we feel, I mean, obviously it's not working. Everyone's feeling worse. But this concept of searching for meaning rather than happiness is actually where it's at. And she goes through, I'm only a couple chapters in, but she goes through some historical examples of folks who, had lost meaning. What is this all for? And a lot of very famous people. And Voltaire is an example of one who, he said, I would have killed myself many times if I didn't have so much to do. Like his work for meaning and what was valuable to him sort of had so much to do with how he spent his time. His dread about life or his self-loathing or whatever it was that made him feel suicidal, won out. And so this idea of like, even the greatest minds have been suicidal and many have not taken their lives. Why? And so she's just on this journey to figure that out. And she goes through community and connection and some really interesting little cultural things that are just fascinating. So that's where I am in the book. But kind of this idea though, like the storyline, the guy on the treadmill yelling in your ear is a version of meaning. Like your life isn't worth anything. That's the meaning you're getting yelled at. Or look at you, you're 43 and, grow up. What's your problem? Like that's the meaning. And so the idea being, let's deconstruct that, figure out who talked to you that way. And you can, and one of the things she talks about in the book is, back in the day when we figured out germ theory, we figured out, human contact spreads a germ and then kills a person. Then orphanages everywhere and parenting philosophy everywhere became don't kiss your kids, don't hug your kids, don't touch your kids.
Because of the germs.
Because of the germs. And so we have all this evidence of, kids, like 100% mortality rate in orphanages because these kids are not being touched rather than they're still getting fevers and getting sick and dying. How is this possible? Well, because their immune system is shot because no one's touched them. So it's stuff you will be shocked. It wasn't that long ago. This is how we thought. In fact, the 1940s, 1950s. And it started to change because there were people who were, radical enough and strong enough to say, hold on, let me show you what happens to a kid who's not touched for a week and film the whole thing. And now let's see a kid when it's reunited with its mother. I mean, they can't do that anymore. That's way not good. Right. But and you watch this child become despondent, depressed, curl up in a ball, refuse a baby, and then watch it come back alive when it has the touch of another person. And so we know that loneliness, we know disconnection, we know all these things that are so dangerous and so damaging. But we're all trying to figure that out. But how hard is it to get close to someone when you have someone in a megaphone yelling you're worthless to you?
Yeah, it's
really hard.
Really hard, especially if that's all you've heard, or if that's predominantly what you've heard. And I don't know anybody who would deny this. When you are being praised for something, like I'll be having a rough day or something, and I'll post something on Twitter, something I drew or something, that I made or whatever. Just that one person who replies back and goes, "This is awesome. I'm so glad you shared this. This is so cool," or whatever. Positive feedback like that. Something clicks in your head. You're like, "Oh, right. I am good at this. Someone does like this. I'm going to do this again." Like that positive feedback really matters. And if at a very young age or whatever formative years you want to point to and you weren't given that kind of feedback and instead the opposite was what was happening, it feels like your basic programming is flipped. Like if you're not getting negative feedback, something feels wrong. And when you get negative feedback, that of course doesn't produce positive results, but it's the anchor of like, oh yeah, right. That's how this is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be treated negatively. That really bums me out. Mm-hmm. I mean, but you're not saying that this can't be deprogrammed. It's not like you can't find a way through the right therapy, the right help, the right behavior changes.
Right, exactly. Here's the thing. I don't know how much people get to that work when you're doing recovery. Okay, so someone is very suicidal, really, really depressed, very, very low. You work to get them to a stability, right? Mm-hmm. And then this is deeper work because it's hard, right? So you can't take someone who can't get out of bed and be like, let's dig into your childhood. And, you're going to make them worse initially, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to get them stable. And it sounds like that stability is maybe a tricky thing for this emailer to find, right? And so when you get to that stability, hopefully, and maybe it's an adjustment of meds, maybe it's more time in nature, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's all the combination of the things, or he's just ready. Then you say, no, I need to dig. I need to find out who these voices in my head are so I can stop believing them.
Right.
Because they are incessant. And again, a way to think about it is like, okay, so you have an interaction with a teacher in second grade. So say you have a loving, happy family, everything's like normal. Then you have a teacher who just doesn't like you, just treats you a little different, just finds your stuff annoying, right? That could maybe happen. And they just like let other kids bully you, and they see it and you know it. You watch this teacher neglect you or harm you in some way, or they said something like, you're just dumb, or you're only here because, some kind of feedback. You're a little kid. That's now truth for you. Right. You don't go, wow, that teacher's having a bad day, or wow, I must trigger some weird issue in them. You don't have any of those resources to do that. So you absorb it. And then the next time something feels even slightly familiar to that, it adds on. And suddenly it's your voice going, hey, you know what? You probably shouldn't go out for that team. You're probably not going to make it. You need to save yourself. So it becomes a protective strategy. So it's like a human survival thing that's just gawampus, right? So it starts with some dumb second grade teacher, gets reinforced by some kid in your gym class in high school, and then you're off at college deciding your major because this voice is yelling at you that you shouldn't do scary things. You should just stick with something you're probably good at, which is nothing, right? And you go, oh, that's my voice. That must be my intuition. That's my Jiminy Cricket.
I gotta listen to it.
Yeah, let's do it. And then the reality is it's not. It's a bully with a bullhorn on a treadmill telling you can't do this. And so digging into your past, going backwards and going, where are these voices from? Who said them? And can I actually bring some sort of adult empathy to the child that was told those things? That, oh, you're too emotional, or that it's not okay to do this or that, and who you are isn't okay. We can unpackage that, unprogram that, but you got to feel stable first for that to do that, because it's a pretty painful process. It means looking at maybe our parents in a way that's hard, is maybe looking at our childhood, our siblings sometimes, in ways that we're protecting ourselves against doing. That's why it's in our voice, right? And so then we start to find space and go, I actually don't know who I am, let alone that I am the terrible person. And then it becomes a sort of an effort of discovery. And here's where age is a thing. We go, oh, I'm 43. I should have figured this out. Well, should you have? I mean, people are figuring it out in their 80s, right? Like the earlier, the better, because it's less programmed. It's less solid in there, but it's absolutely reversible. It just takes some effort. And I think maybe switching up with a therapist who that's a skill they have, I think might be a smart idea. Some version of, I got to identify who is yelling at me every day and how can I get them to at least be quieter and at least have the real me rise up in this conversation.
Recognizing that specific voice and being able to ignore it. Yeah.
All right. Well, so the person is in the chat today, and some have been going back and forth in the public chat. I've had a little private message back and forth with this person. Would you, obviously all this advice is good. Would you recommend a change up in therapy if he is currently seeing somebody? Is there an advantage at this stage to go to and see if somebody's better suited or more focused on his particular kinds of issues? Like is that helpful at all?
Well, and everybody is different in what they need, and that represents some, changing and loss and comfort, and as we all have talked about many times, it's hard to find a good therapist, and it's like a search. So it poses a risk, right? Like I have this comfort thing that I've done, and I have a place to go, and if it feels really good and like it's working, then no.
Right.
But if it feels like
plateaued, like if you don't feel like you've moved, like you feel like, oh great, helped me a lot at the beginning, and now it's just kind of like a a flat maintenance kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And here's what I would recommend. And I know this is hard to do, but sit down with your therapist and talk this through. Say, I am still curling up in a ball. I am, the results of the treatment have helped me to this level. I would like more.
Right.
So what do you suggest? And is there someone I should see who is going to take me to another level? Or is this something you can do? You just don't know I'm ready, but have a conversation. I tend to say, hey, I'm not sure I'm giving you everything you need because I can feel it. So a therapist feels it usually, like, well, we're on maintenance and I'm here for you. And so what I will often say, how about we skip every other week, or let's create some space to see how you do without meeting with me. And also, like, do you know what I'm terrible at? This thing, you know what? I have a colleague who's great at that. Let's try that. If they're really territorial about you, that's not a great sign.
Right.
It really, our motto, our sort of ethical responsibility is A, do no harm, and then B, don't work out of your purview. So I am not going to work with someone who has alcoholism. That is not my jam. I've never figured out how to do that. I say all the wrong things. Like, I'm just go to a bar and see how it goes. I mean, I'm terrible.
Immersion therapy.
Yeah. Let's just have you hold that beer all day. I mean, I'm terrible. And so I know it. And anyone who needs that kind of treatment, I will refer you to somebody else. I can help you with pieces of problems, but I can't do that. And so that is me being ethical, knowing my ability and so that is your therapist's obligation. Maybe they don't realize that this is happening because you have not expressed any of this. So own your half of this relationship, which is, hey, I might need more. And they're grown-ups, speaking of, they can handle that. And you will know. Your gut, I think, will tell you a little bit. And work with them and just say, hey, can we do some new things? They may just realize, like, oh yeah, we got to step this up. Or they may say, you know what, I feel like I've taken you as far as I can, and here's and their obligation is to refer you on. That is, they don't just go, well, good luck. Their obligation is also to help you find somebody.
One of the things that the person asked me is, and maybe you can answer this, but depression can make you exhausted, right? Like,
oh yeah,
it's easy to blame meds, or it's easy to blame workload or whatever, but sometimes, like, depression is the thing that is going to just put you on the couch for 5 hours that afternoon. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that helps them.
Yeah, totally. But here's again, so there's like, again, and here's what he could work on getting good at, is knowing what's the depression and what's the storyline coming out of the bullhorn.
Yeah.
Because if I yelled at you, you're going to go lay on your couch for 5 hours, or the physical exhaustion you have from mono or from any chemical disruption will put you on the couch for 5 hours. Right. To know the difference is where the magic is, so that you can nurture yourself on the couch for those 5 hours because you are exhausted for biological reasons, which are going to happen with depression,
right,
versus what tools do I actually have to combat this voice that, and again, they get mixed and messy, right? I'm laying on the couch for 5 hours because I'm exhausted. Well, the stories then come, well, you're 43 years old. You should have figured this out by now. Yeah. And so to gain some strategies to handle that, I mean, the greatest battle we all have is our internal one. And it really is like, behooves all of us to get good at this and figure out who's talking, why, who is really us. I think we have the sort of general culture, like, oh, you should never hear voices. I'm like, no, we all hear voices all the time. Now, there's a version that's not great, of course, but we're all listening to our own voice. We're listening to our own voices, which are really mimicking other things. And they're mostly self-protective, right? We are creatures that need protection. And so we have lots of strategies. So, but in the end, they harm us long-term. So that's kind of the gist of it. And I'm saying all this like, yeah, go do it. It's hard work. What I am talking about is hard work.
Yeah.
But it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Like just today, I was talking to a client whose family, were verbally abusive to her as a child. She did not know that until we started working together and realized, oh, wait, hold on, back up. They called me names. That is abusive. I'm like, yeah, but it takes sometimes saying it out loud. The voice you hear says, I'm not good enough. Where did you get that? Oh yeah, I was called names and told I wasn't good enough. Oh, that makes sense. And just that can crack open enough space where the actual you, the you that goes, huh, can have more space, more breathing room, can be the one that decides what you do with your life.
Sure.
So that's that.
I
And
like
now, okay, so tying it back real quick to self-care.
Okay.
This is why these little things that are uncomplicated and nurturing and simple can have such a massive impact. It's the real you. Like I was thinking about last week when I was talking about the internet and the influence of media on everyone, and sort of like you could feel but as soon as you guys started making your list, I was beaming the whole time. And I'm just thinking, how many other people are listening? And I can make you sad, but then we're going to talk about Scott taking a nap with his dog, and you're like, you know,
It
it
really
has
is the
power.
best. Yeah.
It has a lot of power, but it's got to be yours. And this is what's so tricky. Maybe you get your partner or a friend to do this with you, of like just following up on this idea of every day doing something very small and joy bringing for you, and see. So for the both of you, did you feel any difference? I forgot to follow up with.
Yeah, and ironically, it turned out to be super important for the last week that I have these little escapes.
Oh God, yeah, right.
Had a real rough one for various reasons we won't get into today anyway, but because of that, and because I had internalized so much of that, it was really great to be able to go, wait, Scott, hold on a second. You wrote this list for a reason. Let's try one of these. And it would really help me. And like I said, I've only been able to really pull off 3 or 4 of them on a regular basis. But I have done it every day, at least one of those things, some of them multiple times. And they're great. In fact, I'll tell you what, the nap with the dog thing, which I, previous to this didn't really do all that often, and not for very long. The dog can't even do it that long. But, if it's a half hour or something, I used to feel kind of guilty about that. Like, I could there's stuff I need to get done.
Making money right now, working on,
I should be doing this thing. I'm supposed to call so-and-so. I do it all the time. It's just this guilty feeling. But with this new way of looking at it, I didn't look at it that way anymore. And I'll tell you what, when I would do it, I would come away from it like, all right, that was rad. I did this thing. I checked it off my list today, and I feel more awake. I feel more, jazzed up to do what I got to do. Like it completely flipped the meaning of it. And it was good. So I hope others are doing that and finding that with this little exercise, because it's been really good.
And Brian, it sounds like you need to practice a little more.
I need to practice a little more. Number one, I need to finish my list.
Yeah.
I need to keep finding the things that aren't complicated that bring me joy. But I've been pretty good about doing the things that I did identify in here. I mean, playing video games for 10, 15 minutes a day, which sounds like you would do that anyway, Brian. No, if you know me, I don't. Like, I have to say, all right, let's take a break from freelance for a while, or take a break from doing this or that, and actually force myself to play some games. Cat on the lap in the recliner. The new kitten. The new kitten likes the recliner.
That sounds great.
Does not the older cat is not a lap cat.
Yeah.
But so I just need to finish my list and then adhere to it.
Yeah, so you get a little more practice. Eventually, like Scott, it flipped meaning. Think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You just flipped the meaning of a nap with your dog to I'm bad to like
it's important.
Nutrients.
Yeah.
And that's the point of the things can't get absorbed if we're deflecting it all with guilt. And this is why going back into your childhood kind of matters sometimes, is because you got messages all along about how you spend your time. I mean, I am ruining my I'll just tell you right now, I'm like, what are you doing with your time all the time? And it's like, I'm going to be that voice in their head with a megaphone, and they'll have to go to therapy. It's going to be fine. But it's because we learn certain ways about what we do with our time. And think about it. Someone in their middle life is raising a kid, and their biggest struggle is time. And then they're watching their kids waste time. Like, you can see why we're projecting crap on our children. So it's not about them. It's about me. And I'm not good at this either, everybody, but all of us have a childhood that impacts how we feel about self-care.
Yeah.
So if you find you got nothing that brings you joy, then listen to what we're saying here. Also, if you find that you feel guilty for any joy, there is some childhood garbage in your way, typically. And or, just you've got the misunderstanding, and you're probably an American that thinks the more productive I am, the more productive I am.
More
which is-
value.
more value, and I am, and it's the biggest, fattest lie we tell ourselves. You actually have to go on vacation, everybody. You actually have to recharge. You have to turn your dang phones off, or you burn too much and your system quits on you.
Yeah.
So there you go for lecture 101 of the day.
I liked it. I liked it. Once in a while, you need a good lecture. I think this stuff's all really good, and I hope the person in this email can find some ways to ride his own ship. It sounds like he's working on it, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're here for you. Oh my gosh, I almost knocked over a light. Hold on, I gotta tweak that right now. Okay, everything's fine. Everybody, calm down. Everything's fine. All right, Wendy, we'll do this at least a couple of more times before you leave for Utah.
Yeah, I'm gone next week. I'm taking a little trip to Chicago, meeting some friends from Sweden.
Nice. What?
Nice.
So excited.
That's
They're
not
so
very
cute. They're
far now. That's easy to get to, right?
Yeah, it's like 5 hours from here.
Yeah.
They are like they're road tripping. They started in New York City and got the heat wave while they were in Central Park and riding bikes, which was fun for them. But they this is what I love about Europeans. When they come here, they're like, "We'll just stop at your house." I'm like, "You don't know how geography works here.
Yeah,
We will come to you."
Yes, yes.
You.
It is
This
weird
is
because everything's spread out weird here. It's like a
Yeah.
whole different bag of chips in America.
It really is. So anyway, so we're headed to Chicago for the week to just hang out with them. So I will miss next week. Sorry, people, and then I'll be back after that.
Adam going with you?
Yeah.
Who's watching the kids? Are all of you going?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's their whole family, and we've been good friends for a long time now. So we get to, and we've traveled quite a bit with them. So we already.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's only 5 hours. That's like going to Vegas for us. That's nothing.
Yeah, totally. And Chicago has that pizza. Oh
Yeah,
my
they do.
gosh.
Oh my gosh, they do. They
Yeah,
sent
they do.
some people in Chicago, fans of the show, good friends of the show, sent us some of that pizza. What was the place, Brian?
Right.
What's it called?
It was Lou Malnati's.
Lou Malnati's. You got to eat there.
Lou Malnati's. Yeah.
Could somebody tweet me? Sometimes I will look because I will look. But if you're in Chicago, just please give me a couple of ideas.
Yeah,
We are in charge.
Giordano's and Lou Malnati's.
Yeah.
Even Pizzeria Uno, the original, is there in Chicago.
Oh, is
And
it?
it's
Okay.
not the chain that you go to all over the place, but the original is the
Yeah.
pizza.
And it always starts a pizza fight about New York versus Chicago style pizza, but I say we can have both, is what I say.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
they're both amazing.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, if anyone has any, local tricks of things to do while you're there that, because I actually don't like tourist traps. So
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Lesarge has got to send you the whereabouts, like a Google map showing this cool park that we went to that's just south of the city that has all these cool new sculptures, a lot of things for kids to run around and climb on. Oh my God, this thing was so cool. Tina and I had a blast running around and climbing on these things, but it's like art and discovery and Maggie Daly Park. That's totally it. Oh, so cool.
Maggie
They're
Daly Park. Okay.
Yeah.
Maggie Daly Park. That is a must go.
Sounds like a fake name.
Okay, cool.
Maggie Daly Park.
Maggie Daly. Yes.
Yeah.
I go to Maggie Daly.
Pick up
All
my
right.
groceries. Okay. Thank you.
Have a fun time. We'll see you not next week, but we will see you the week after that. Have a safe trip. We'll see you then.
Okay. See you guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye now. I have to hang up on her. All right. Well, that's the end of the show, everybody. Thanks for being here. Great show.
Awesome.
Great segment. Always enjoy it. I want to do a quick test. Everybody in the chat room, give me a number between 1 and 100. All of you. Just participate. This is I will actually make it matter, so whatever it picks for the winner, I'll do another piece of digital art for them. But I want to see if
I
this
can tell
thing-
you that the number you're going to see most prominently in there, I can predict. Just because,
probably
actually, probably
42.
two numbers that are most prominent.
probably 42, probably a little 50 in there.
69.
69, a couple of dirty ones. This is totally random. The site does it. I don't do it. I want to see if this works. All right, here we go. I'm going to roll and see if it picks whoever picks. I'm resetting your eligibility. All right, everyone's eligible. Here we go. Roll it.
Eligible.
And it's...
Oh.
Oh,
So it says
nobody's...
now enter. Now do we need to enter our numbers?
You know what? I guess so. I've never done this before. So now you put in your numbers, and nobody's hit the number yet. So this is interesting. Oh, this could be a spam nightmare, though. 'cause
Wow. So basically, as soon as somebody gets the right number, it will let them know.
It will let them know. The problem is I can't really control the spam nightmare that is happening until somebody does it. So this may not be the best idea. I don't know. I'm trying all these little contest systems out, and there's some cool stuff in here, but One of them's like, oh, pick a random number between whatever. You know, it'd be easier here. It'd be pick a random number between 1 and 10 or 25. You're going to get to the end much quicker than you are with the 100. But so far, nobody's done the number.
No
yet.
way. Nobody's actually named the actual number?
No,
Because I'm seeing like, it is like, numbers just going up.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it, and then let's see if it clears.
Okay. Nope, it did not.
Okay, someone else put 52 in there.
Okay. I'll do it because I hear you first. Oh, there's somebody dead.
It's still not doing it though.
I see a lot of 52s now, yeah.
Yeah, so if they're all doing it's not working right. All right, you can all stop. I've canceled it. It's not happening anymore. I'll work on that later. That thing's funky.
Well,
all right, that's it for the show. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in today, both live and later. There will be music on today's show. I can promise you that. I basically have an electric probe that pokes me every time I don't put music in now. So don't worry your little heads. Frogpants.com/TMS is where you'll find all of our stuff. That includes a place to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/TMS. That's how we get support for the show. It's how we pay the bills. It's how we keep the lights on and the files flowing. So if you are interested at all in giving back to your favorite morning show, that's where to do it. Patreon.com/TMS. That's going to do it for us. Brian, or play the music.
Okay, well, I'll describe the music. It's up to you to play it. Dustin Ward wrote in and said, hey, Brian, my wife is having major surgery on the 25th. She is diagnosed as needle phobic. Didn't know that was a thing, so it's going to be a struggle. But together, we will get the IV in and surgery done. Can you play her a song to remind her that I am here for her always? If not, maybe she can get a fish sandwich. Love the show, though. Dusty.
Gosh dang it, you guys with your last-second fish sandwich. Okay, here it is.
Well, that's...
Nope.
This is not.
Nope.
Every sandwich you...
Nope.
Hey, it's too hard to get a fish sandwich.
There it is.
I love how it is. Like, it turns into like a throw darts. Nope. 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 I love it.
I have a lot of sandwich clips, and I don't know why I have so many, but whatever.
This is, this is a cover of The Glory of Love. Now, there are a lot of songs called The Glory of Love, or at least two that I know of that came out the same year. Frankie Goes to Hollywood had one, and Peter Cetera had the other one for the Karate Kid, I believe it was. Not the Karate Kid Part 2. Was it Part 2?
I don't know. I don't remember either.
It was one of those.
Yeah.
Newfound Glory covered it on their 2004 album From the Screen to Your Stereo as an EP, where they covered a bunch of movie theme songs. This was one of the ones they picked. Peter Cetera's The Glory of Love, punkified by a Newfound Glory.
See you tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. for Mount TMS PM. So come on back for that.
TMS PM.
Yep, we'll be here doing it again. So we'll see you then. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
It's like there ain't no ag up in there.
What was that? I don't even know if that was English.
I love that one. I think it's on that Trailer Park show or Trailer Park Boys show. There's a guy who plays
with the big glasses.
No, it's not him though. On this part, it's the rapper guy, and I can't think of his name. J-Rock is his name. He's this white guy that pretends to be all street and rappy, and you can barely understand him half the time.
It's like there ain't no ag up in there.
He's always saying he's so funny. Oh my gosh, that guy's funny. It's like this. He says this too. Hold on.
Money's gone, bitch.
He just talks like some kind of street thug freaking gangster, and he's not any of those things. J-Rock awesome. Is really funny. Anyway, what do we got here?